and I hope everyone is doing well and all your family members are doing well. Welcome to the Indian School of Business. My name is Ratnakar, and I'm part of the Center for Executive Education here. And today's session will be kind of being handled between me and VK, and any questions related to alumni engagement and so on will be taken by Sri Devi. Now, this will be the flow of the session, and you guys can kind of keep posting your questions in the Q&A box, and we will take up all of them as and when we can, or probably by the end of it, and some in between. So with this, I'll hand it over to Mr. Menon. Mr. Menon is a senior director at the Center for Executive Education. He also happens to head the Center for Executive Education, and he would be kind of taking you through the ISB presentation, and also a little brief about the program, and largely the topic of today is the trajectory of your career with ISB's general management program. So over to you, VK.
Thanks, Ratnakar. Thanks, Sridevi and Ratnakar. A very warm welcome to all the participants. It has to be warm. It's kind of May and all that, and I think the weather is quite warm. Anyway, so a very warm welcome, and thanks for joining us. And we spend the next maybe a quick 20 minutes on a presentation, but more importantly, we would like to look at the questions that you have so that we can, what we have found is that the question and answer session is normally the best part of the show, because we address your queries and figure out what's best for you. Quick introduction about myself. I kind of am kind of something like an historic active artifact kind of thing. See, I did my engineering in 1976. That was way back. Uske baad 4 years at Tata's. Then I did my MBA from IIM Bangalore. Those days it was PGDM. Now it's become an MBA. Good. And then I was with Philips for about 4 years. Then I was Escorts. I was the national sales and service head for Escorts for about 10 years. And then with US West, BPL US West Cellular Limited. And I was head sales service and sales marketing and service delivery. At that point, a bug bit me. I kind of completely changed careers, completely changed from this whole sales and marketing into academics, became a marketing professor at SDM IMD, was a marketing prof for about 7 years. Came to ISB in 2004. So 2004 to now has been a pretty long stint with ISB. And so in ISB, with two short, going in and going away and coming back kind of thing, one with IIM Bangalore and one with SPJ Global. And in ISB, I was handling admissions, placements, career L&D, and now I'm with executive education. Two things why I kind of told the story at all. If you were to ask me, okay, you have done so many years, 17, 18 years in industry and a similar amount of time in academics. So what is there? What would you want to say from your very long innings that you've had? What are some of the things? And I have no doubt about my answer. People don't ask me too many things these days, but because you have got Google. But my point is that I've got two things which I would like to communicate very strongly. And why do I communicate these two things? Because you see, I must have gone through, in terms of counseling of careers, of more than a few thousand students, actually many more than that. And invariably, the choice of careers happen across. Do I take the career which I like, or do I go for the career that gives me perks and money? Difficult choice, because right now you might feel that the it is almost a no-brainer. You should choose a career which you like. But when you are actually put in the situation where perks and money is on one side and your choice of career is on the other side, I've invariably found that in the pressure of the situation, people tend towards taking the perks and money. Imagine the situation, okay? You got two offers. One offer from a company which you'd love to join, the job, the kind of role you'd love to do. And I'm talking about the placement scenario. That's very, the decision-making process is very hot out there. And the other is that, say you're getting about 22 lakhs in this role, a role you would love to do. You're getting 34 lakhs in a role. The role you don't like too much. The company is also kind of, you're not your favorite company, but you're getting 34 lakhs. What did you choose? Invariably, I've seen the choice goes to the 34 lakh job. When but there are some people, and in those hot when there are multiple choices happening, we are very much present, and we do a lot of counseling at that point in time. And my counseling is almost always about take the job which you like to do. And then I did some study on it. I tried to find out, track the careers. What happens to people who took the high paying jobs? What happened to the people who took the jobs they liked but at a lower salary level? Within 5 years, when I took the next assessment, it is very clear that those who moved to the jobs of choice outperformed, not only in terms of the salaries and perks they were drawing, but also certainly much more in their job satisfaction and the level of growth they have had. So my first point out of 2 points, my first point is that you do have the opportunity to change to a career you want to change to. You will get opportunities. Only thing is that you got to be prepared for those opportunities. And this program, we will try to relate and link as to how this program throws up some opportunities for you. The second is, and that has become extremely important in my opinion today. It was important always. It's extremely important today. It's about the learning mindset. And I don't have to dwell more on it, because the very fact that you're here, the very fact that you're going through this webinar is clearly indicating that you want to learn, you want to get into, you have the learning mindset, you want to learn, you want to understand the latest what's happening and grow. That's clear. So the growing mindset and the choices are the two things that for me are the most important career perspectives. These do not change whether you're taking this decision at a campus level, where you got, say, at that time you have had about 5-6 years of experience in taking a call, or you're taking a call now where you got 15 years of experience and another opportunity has come by. There are options. Should I stay with my track? Should I change? Is there risk and uncertainty in change? How do I manage change? Will I be successful? All those questions remain actually throughout your career. So that is the kind of things that we want to address going forward in this webinar. Quickly, to take you through some other points, ISB, the objective, the vision of ISB is to be internationally top-ranked, research-driven, independent management institution that grooms leaders for the world, India and the world. You might ask me, okay, so what's in it for me? ISB wants to groom leaders, but how does it impact me? How it impacts you is that the programs you do with ISB would be in that category. It will be programs that are global in scope, global in scale, in terms of what kind of inputs you get. The kind of faculty you have will be absolutely top-ranked faculty who are bringing to the classroom not books that were written 20 years back, not teaching from books that were written X years back, but teaching from the research they're doing currently. They're all research faculty. Research they're doing currently, and how this research plays out for you in the decision that you would be taking. That's the advantage you get. So 6 things we're going to do. Quick ISB, 2 minutes. Your career, substantial time. The program overview and program details, very quick. Faculty and admissions, and then over to the Q&A. And the Q&A, I think, as I said, what Ratnakar said, please start typing in your Q&A right now, so that Ratnakar gets a track of all the questions that are answered. He also starts answering, and he's a machine which operates at some huge velocity. He kind of, as soon as the questions come, his answers are also gone. I'm amazed. So keep shooting your questions, and we will take it as they're coming in, and it will also help me to moderate my talk as I go forward.
So, Mr. Menon, there is an early bird query here. Why did you change from industry to academic?
Why did I change from industry to academic? It's a good question. It's a good question. Okay, I changed. I don't know whether on a public platform I can be really frank, or it's kind of okay. But I think I'll choose to be frank. See, what happened is that my career was at a peak. I was at that time, really, really doing well. And here comes this opportunity, which says, you come and teach. You got to teach about 4 hours a day. 4 hours a week. 4 hours a week. Rest of the time is yours. You do your research. The rest of the time is yours. So immediately my mind went into, I can play golf. I can kind of learn golf. I always wanted to. I can learn golf. I can play a lot of bridge. I was interested in bridge, play a lot of bridge. I liked reading. I liked academics. I was poor in academics. I was very poor in academics, but I liked reading. I liked academics. I liked interacting with students. And what I did is I did a test run. I took a session. I took a couple of sessions at SDM. I told the director that I would take up this offer, 1 year offer. It's a 1 year sabbatical, and I'm going back to industry. But I will take this 1 year sabbatical after doing a few sessions. Did a few sessions, liked it. The students also loved it. I brought that industry academic angle, and I took up a 1 year sabbatical and joined STMIMD. That 1 year just continued. People think that academics doesn't pay, but actually academics does. In any B school you join, because you can do a lot of consulting, and that's where you get the money from. And anyway, money was not a very critical factor as far as my mindset is concerned. Okay, that's another matter, another discussion sometime. So I joined there and kind of really enjoyed it, because that 1 year went on to 7 years. So coming back, globalizing, we got Kellogg, Wharton, London Business School, MIT Sloan, Fletcher, all partner schools. So the knowledge that you will get, and Sridevi, feel free to just interject with these questions. That's very nice, because I'll also get, the trend of the questions. These schools are partner schools with us. So the learning that you will get, there is a lot of impact these schools have on us. So they faculty, in terms of the faculty, in terms of the content, all those things are, we work in partners with these schools. And very interestingly, the people who are going to teach you will be from top schools across the world. I mean, they've done their doctorate in the top schools. They've probably worked in the US, they've worked in India, they've been in academics, they've worked in industry. So this academic faculty and research faculty are the faculty who are going to be teaching you. I'm going to spend a bit of time on this. See, you have functional roles and functional specialists. You have management roles and you have top management. The layering and travel between the roles is what the objective of programs like this is. It is to give you a intervention which will help you navigate across these three boxes, if you will. Okay, what do I mean by that? Let me take a couple of cases. Here is this lady, Geeta, who was a clear functional specialist, around 10 years experience in tech services company, joined as a testing engineer, progressed around and became a delivery manager. And the issue there is that her heart was never in that, she liked the job. She was, the hygiene factors were good. The company was taking good care of her, but she was always, her penchant was towards the markets, towards going out, meeting clients and this, that, and the other. That's what she wanted to do. But as many of us face, much of the early job choices are thrust upon us. You take your engineering because somebody told you to take engineering. After engineering, you take a job because that guy came for placements and you got an offer. So many of the early decisions are thrust upon us. And then one thing leads to another. You don't want to rock the boat and you continue. That was Geeta's situation at that point in time. She took a program, a similar program. And this program is actually a new avatar. We have been running a similar program in another, because this program, we have kind of created a lot of new age things we've added, but we were running the same program for years before. She took a previous program and moved into account management roles. Okay. So what was the advantage she had? She knew the backend very well. She knew the program delivery. She knew the product very well. She had a penchant towards market. So she was comfortable in the market space. And this program was the bridge between what she was doing and what she wanted to do and the job she got. And the interesting part was she became a highly successful account manager, key account manager. Actually, she was handling large portfolios in the US. So you need a bridge. You need some way you can go from A to B if A and B are different points in the career. And that is the kind of bridging that this kind of a program actually delivers to you. Another story I can relate is about Rakesh. And what Rakesh, very strong, not an engineer here, very strong salesperson, okay, commerce person, very strong salesperson has been, and he grew up the hierarchy. So he grew up from, he was a sales trainee. He became a sales officer, a sales manager. So he grew up very, very quickly. Excellent profile. But then the problem came. The problem was that after about 10 years at that, he had grown to a regional head. There was a zonal position, but that zonal position was a multiple task position. There was sales responsibility. There was also a P&L responsibility and marketing responsibility. So more focus on the market and the market product orientation was required for that position. And he was getting overlooked for that position because the company knew that he was an excellent sales guy, and he was. But the problem was that the company was not sure whether they will be able to handle the next role, which had to do more with strategy, more with planning, more with the, yes, also managing sales. There again, this is the kind of program that bridges this gap, because you not only learn sales and marketing and so on, you understand nuances of finance, how you kind of do the value, how do you appropriate value, and how do you kind of deliver value to the clients. You understand human behavior, how do you manage teams. So this rounds you up as an individual. The third quick story is about a plant manager, Deepak actually. The plant manager, he'd already done his MBA actually, but that was about 15 years back. He had done his MBA. The plant manager had to move, and actually that role was operations head. That was the movement that is required. So he had excellent, and he was reputed as one of the best manufacturing executives. But the operations role was a step change into management, a step change into management. And there, the criticality was things like managing, the kind of a P&L for that operation, needed vendor expertise, managing vendors across and so on. So both backward and forward linkages, and very strong market collaborative requirements. So that is again a position where this happened to bridge the two requirements. The other, in fact, I was just jotting down a few of these. I was just reflecting and jotting down a few cases. Another case that struck me was a person who was already operating out here, a very senior manager, middle management guy. He has hit the senior level, 20 years of experience, 21 years of experience. The bridge there was from senior middle management to top management. And what was happening to him was that every time the top management, the move was happening from level L7 to L8, there the gate was, there was a requirement for the MBA. So he didn't have an MBA. And that was an irritant, because the company kept telling him that you're extremely valuable and we will move you, but it was not happening. And this again was the bridge. So there are multiple kind of stories that actually this kind of program bridges. Quickly, two more. One was Meena, who was heading a family business, doing exceptionally well, a big family business. But Meena's trouble was that her father had kind of grown old. She had taken on the reins. And the problem was that she wanted to get on to a kind of expanding scale. She wanted to get into new products. She wanted to get into market expansion, product expansion kind of things. And she was not sure whether she had the right the tools and techniques to handle that kind of thing. She was definitely not at all comfortable with the new age scenarios, whether it is something like your AI, ML, data analytics, and how do you make decision-oriented, data-oriented, decision-oriented decisions for your own industry. So that was another bridge which happened. And the last one, a pharma person, Nishant, who came in with a R&D background, successful, very successful, wanted to move as a business head of that group. And that's again a bridge. So in other words, if you connect all these stories, what is the common point here? The common point here is, as you grow in the hierarchy, there is a need for obviously functional strength, that is the depth, but it's got to be the T. You also need to understand the dynamics of the team. You could be an excellent chartered accountant. You've been doing it for a long time. Some of the people who have benefited most from similar programs are actually consultants who have been working in companies, who are strong in one domain. Chartered accountant, been with the company, has been consulting. But when it comes to the next level of growth, you require the more holistic picture, the ability to utilize the latest tools and techniques, both the market-based techniques and the product-based techniques, and also the techniques which are today very prevalent, like I said about, for example, data analytics and using data analytics to get solutions and so on and so forth. So that is where this product is positioned. How does this product do this? How do you move? It's a 150-hour program. How does this 150-hour program form this bridge? How do you move is the question that we have to address. But before that, a quick look at the program itself. Starting in July, it's a 9-month program. Okay, so it goes on to 9 months, and 150 live sessions happen. Now, this is what is called as a blended program. What's a blended program? A blended program is some of the classes happen virtual live. That means online virtual live. But all classes happen in simultaneous mode, which means that the faculty is teaching and you're listening. We are not talking about asynchronous learning. Virtual live. Virtual live means we try to replicate the classroom. And today we have got tools and techniques that actually replicates the classroom. And very interestingly, the comments we hear, and we are kind of surprised ourselves, is that in many ways the virtual live seem to be overtaking the physical systems. Why? Because in a physical program, let's say you do a 2-week program or a 3-week program. You come for a specific period of time and then you go back. You feel good and then you go back. How much of it you implement? It's a kind of a funnel. You learn a lot of things, you retain X, and you implement Y. There's a funnel. In a virtual live environment, it's all bite-sized pieces. You do 3 hours today, wait for 2-3 days or a week, do another 3 hours, another week, 3 hours, and it goes on. That's why it has become a 9-month program. And blended is that along with virtual live, you also have sessions in campus. You will have one campus session in Hyderabad, one campus session in Mohali. Inshallah, kind of thing, God willing, in the sense that I hope this COVID and all doesn't last. And Ratnakar has been reworking. He has been furiously reworking. He has kind of figured out how to push it more and more back. And I think, Ratnakar, this is November. And what are the timings, Ratnakar, now that you've got?
It is November second week and March first week.
November and March. So hopefully by this time we should be able to get you to campus and get the feel of campus, get the feel of the faculty and so on and so forth, with 2 residencies, one residency in Hyderabad and one residency in Mohali. And the course starts on 15th of July. The total cost of the program will come to about 9 lakhs, in the sense that it's a 7.5 lakh is the cost plus GST. It will come to about 9 lakhs. This slide is perhaps not reflecting the right story. We started off with understanding that we would like an ideal experience of more than 5 years. We are very sure that we really do not want people with less than 5 years of experience, because unless they're exceptional. Okay, and why do we say ideal? Because exceptional people, we have to make exceptions. So that's why the ideal thing comes in. So we kind of looked at a 5-year plus thing. But what the market is telling us now is that the demand is coming in from people who are 10 years plus. There is a segment which is between 5 to 10, but the predominant segment is 10 year plus. And Ratnakar was telling me that the average experience today is at about 13 to 14 years of experience. Okay. Program has got 3 layers. I'll just quickly go through, because you may have seen this before. This is the 3rd webinar. We did the program, we did the Q&A, and this is the career orientation. So I'm going to go through very quickly on the remaining slides. But just to give you a flavor of those of you who are first time seeing the webinar, I just want to give you a flavor. 3 layers: the CEO layer of teaching, the experiential layer of teaching, and the general management layer of teaching. What is the difference? CEO layer is the CEO perspective as to how the CEO sees you in your growth trajectory. The experiential layer of is the is the working on the concepts you have learned on the bottom layer, which is the general management layer, and then using it as an experiential layer means that you will be implementing it in your work. And how do you implement all those concepts you've learned? Second layer, and the third layer is the CEO layer. So you start off with the CEO perspective on strategy and change, and then move into, see, this whole system is actually coming into the general management layer. You learn about strategic decision making, and this is a very interesting intersection. You do the strategic decision making and start off with an ALP, which is an action learning project. Now, suppose you have a project that you're doing either in your company or in another company, or you want to do a project which will be the bridge project. That means I am in testing. I want to do a project in account management and sales. How do I do that? Okay, that's the bridge. So right through the session, right through the 9 months, you will be on an action learning project, this particular project, guided by faculty who will take you through the nuances of, holding your hands onto the entire piece that you want to learn. And all the other, whether it is marketing, business analytics, value creation in finance, supply chain, customer centricity, this whole things form two layers. The block layer, which is going to give you all inputs. That means the marketing inputs, analytic input, finance inputs, operations input, and customer centricity inputs. And the next layer, which are the experiential inputs. That is what you will do at work. Goes on to ethics and responsible leadership, majorly thought of today as a very important top management requirement. And then we go to two things. One is the emerging technology. This is like big. See, all of us know emerging technologies. Everybody can talk about AI, ML, blockchain, fintech, and so on and so forth. Ask the next question. How many of you are comfortable using it? Some hands will drop. Go to the next question. How many of you are confident about the results? Some hands will drop. Go to the next question. How many have actually implemented and see positive results? Question mark. So this is the tenor we want to attend in this. Okay. How do you get familiar with emerging technologies so that you don't have to burn your hands with something which may not really work for you? And the next one is a favorite across B schools in negotiating and influencing. That's more of personal leadership. There is also an element of personal leadership and personal brand building that is traveling throughout with you in the program. Goes on to personal leadership as a CEO perspective. What do CEOs want to see you in terms of your leadership thing, and how are you able to grow and innovate? This morning I was in a meeting with a very large company, and we were looking at the CEO level planning. Actually, the people who came was the top level, and we were discussing how to create innovation and growth for the company. And the interesting thing was, the innovation and growth actually starts as a mindset right across the company. It's not the prerogative of the top management. It's a innovation and growth is a part of the company. You might be dealing a small part of a large company, but in that you can innovate and grow, and that growth leads to the next growth, to the next growth. So that's the concept of innovation and growth. You can call it intrapreneurship if you want. Executive presence, very important, because I don't have to tell you about it. See, most decisions are taken on a people-to-people basis. You go for a sale, the sale is based on how that person sees you as a person, more than just the product you sell. You take an interview, the first 5 minutes, actually the interview is done. The remaining is, these are all my thoughts, by the way. I may be wrong, but building the executive presence. Culture and ALP review. Goes on to personal leadership. How do you lead? How do you lead on a personal basis? And goes on to the final presentations of the ALP. And the faculty teaching you are absolutely top rung in the sense, Ram Nandamulu, UCLA, serial entrepreneur in the US, worked in the top companies, consulting companies, came to ISB about 3 years back. DVR Sheshadri is the doyen of B2B marketing, those who want to look at B2B as a scope. Siddharth is one of the most published, reputed academicians in the country today. Soumya is a master at personal development. Ram, as we call Subramanian Ram Narayan, has handled huge projects. I mean, for example, railways. How do you motivate the people in railways? How do you increase profitability of railways? How do you do the bottom layer of railways motivation and growth? Those are the kind of questions he has been addressing. And Ramana Sonti is normally taken as one of the best professors in the school. So it goes on. The professors who are teaching includes the dean, it includes international people like Mir Mankat who is from Harvard, Jay Rao, who is a professor of technology from UCLA, Nandu Nandkishore was the governing board of Nestle. He's an industry guy who was in the top management of Nestle, heading a global products for Nestle. So it goes on. Quick thing about the selection process, it's a rolling process, which means every Thursday, Friday we have interviews, and whichever Thursday, Friday interviews happen, the results come in on the next Tuesday, Wednesday, and where we are putting people in wait list, their wait list will be given out on June 14th. June 14th to 28th is another small window, and again the wait list will be given out on June 14th. So that is the two dates, 18th and 14th. And you do the interview with a SOP and a resume, and we look at work experience, leadership potential, performance, and there is a loan facility which you can explore. Wait your questions. I think I took slightly more than what I intended to take. I'm running about 5 minutes over time. Sorry for that. And look forward to your questions. Sridevi, over to you to manage the Q&A, and to Ratnakar, and to take this forward, please.
Sure, VK. I would like to answer a few questions which are coming through pretty much. One is on the placement service. No, this program would not support placement opportunity. But what we do have is you will be integrated with, you will be attaining an alumni status with the Center for Executive Education, which will help you connect with a good 40,000 plus executive community. We also do not have scholarship support for this program. But of course, if you're selected, you would definitely have an opportunity to opt for the bank support, which we will help you with. For the people who are placed outside India, and for the people who may have constraints traveling to the campuses for the campus modules and so on, please be ensured that we will have the entire recordings, and the classes will be technically supported. So you can attend them virtually, even if you cannot be physically present. But however, I would strongly recommend you make it to the campus, because then you will definitely gain from the network opportunity with your peer group, the faculty, and the entire team at ISB.
Let me take a couple of questions, Sridevi. Like every time we have this comparison, that pop-up question that kind of keeps coming up. So hi everyone again. I see a lot of questions coming on PGP, PGP Max, PGP Pro, and GMP. PGP is our flagship suite. So PGP, PGP Pro, PGP Max are mostly full-time programs, and ranging from about 30 lakhs to about 50 lakhs is the investment that gets into any of those respective programs. And we would love to have you there. So if you please want to be guided on the interview process for even the PGP or anything, please drop us an email, and we will connect you to the respective team members, and they will reach out to you and assist you on the PGP thing. Now, for people who are asking this question, how different is it from a PGP? It's absolutely different, in the sense that average experience for a PGP, for example, is 6 to 7 years. It requires a GMAT. It requires a whole thorough interview process of 3 4 interview panels, and more than any of all this, it comes in with a lot more rigor, lot more investment of time, lot more investment of money. Now, this is an executive education program where we intend to have audience who have thought that, who have completed their MBA way back and assume they've learned uh, uh, stuff which is probably not so relevant in the current situation or the current market. Or for people, and a lot of questions came from IT folks, and the intention was when we rolled out was a lot of these people from IT, manufacturing, healthcare, pharma sectors, consulting wouldn't have done a regular MBA and are stuck in their respective roles and want to have an understanding or a holistic understanding of management and functional aspects. That is where this program fits in perfectly there, where it gives you a complete holistic understanding and at least puts you in a position to give you the right set of questions at least to be asked once you start becoming a leader in those respective functions, because you will have that understanding. And hence the intention was this is for working professionals, so it falls under the executive education category. And for people who can't take out so much time and who really don't have money to invest at this point of time in their regular full times or regular PGPs or PGP Maxes and PGP Pros. This was the intention of this is the category and this is the intention where we rolled out this particular program. So I hope I've answered the questions largely on PGP, PGP Max, and PGP Pro. And there's a lot of other questions coming on what's its market value. Now, ISB has its own market value, and executive education at ISB or a executive education certificate from ISB is highly regarded in the market. I'm sure you're aware of ISB's brand value that's there in the market. So it is equivalent to that it is pegged at once you have a comprehensive general management program from ISB, the market is does recognize it. There is no particular format or a manner in which it is done, but ISB's executive education programs are absolutely regarded in the market. So that's to answer the question on the market recognition and so on. Anything I have missed, Devi, that I need to address?
Is GMAT score required?
No, it is not required, guys. GMAT, that's exactly. So GMAT is another thing that you need to prep for doing your PGPs and so on. It is not required because we understand that you are all busy and senior professionals, and we've kind of made it as easy as possible for you to kind of enhance your learning uh, path. And I mean, we didn't want you to leave your learning path in the whole gamut of running around in your work, and hence we put it at a very crisp and a short process. I'll share the process with you. As Mr. VK suggested, we have interviews on every Thursday, Friday. The offers are ideally released by Monday, Tuesday at best, and and we also go through or request you to share your updated resume with the statement of purpose as to why you want to do this program, or where do you envisage yourself after you kind of do this program, or what's the large reason behind why you're wanting to do such a program at this juncture of your career and so on. And post that we kind of send you an email whether you're shortlisted or not or so on. And that's the, I mean, it's a rolling process. Someone asked me what is a rolling process. A rolling process is nothing but once you kind of finish your interview, as in you apply, someone from my team will coordinate with you and line you up for an interview for a Thursday or a Friday, whichever is the upcoming Thursday or a Friday. And the interviews are done by a couple of panels that we have right now, and then we kind of roll out the offer letter, and once you accept it and you go ahead with the payment schedule and so on. So this is largely the process that's being followed right now. And any questions on that, please drop in a note to CEE, that's Center for Executive Education, CEE, at isb.edu. We'll be happy to kind of address them and have a conversation with you.
Okay, let me take a few questions that has come here. Rishi, you're a director sales of an organization. So see, from a director sales, if you have done MBA or a equivalent program recently, then you don't have to get into this program. However, if as in that story I was telling, that transition from director sales to top management, this program is the kind of a link, in the sense that, see, what will happen is that you will meet faculty who are at a very, very senior level, okay, and they will be able to guide you into that next step. All right. So there is a question about from Hajinder about is there an upper age or a experience limit? No, there is not. I mean, you know, anybody with a who is keen to get into the program, we would welcome them. Of course, we have a small interview just to figure out whether we got to build a cohort so that the cohort is everybody in the cohort adds value to each other. The other question which I'm seeing from Radha is that what's the number of people in this program that we kind of take? It'll be normally a class size of 50 people, very diverse, coming from various backgrounds, and that's why this cohort and that's why this interview is required. So that's the profile of the class. I've got 10 years of work experience and looking for an executive MBA. Would this program give weightage to my profile? Yeah, actually, this program could be a good program for you, Ravinder. It could be a good program for you. However, if you want to go into an executive MBA kind of thing, do that in the sense that, of course, it'll kind of take you'll have to invest much more time and energy and money and so on and so forth. But that'll be a more rigorous one. But this will stand you in good stead in terms of your career advancement and so on and so forth. It will be seen by industry as that you have done a pretty good program, uh, kind of a management program. Academic position, this will not help, Sahil. This is not going to help in academic to getting academic positions. Um, PGP Pro Max, Ratnaka handled that. I'm an accountant, business development manager role in top IT consulting firm for 18 years of experience. Why should I join and how it help me to grow? Okay. See, this whole thing, with 18 years of experience and you are doing in account and business relationship management, which you're doing very well in your company, right? Tech consulting and so on and so forth. This program could help you to the next level transition. That is that block between the mid management and the top management layer. Because end of the day, the more profit center responsibilities and the P&L responsibilities you got to handle, that's the link which you'll require multiple inputs coming in, not only from your area of account management, but also from, let's say, value creation through finance and operations experience and using data to arrive at solutions and so on and so forth. That is where uh, it'll handle. Method of teaching would be absolutely top class. I mean, these are all top professors in the world. I mean, so method of teaching will be absolutely top class. Anonymous attendee, 17 years of experience in FMCG sales and marketing. How will this program give an exposure in that domain? No. This program is not going to really help you in that domain because you got 17 years of experience in sales and marketing. So you'll know really well about that domain. This is going to help you in creating a thinking mindset as you traverse your next career trajectory. This career trajectory, I assume with 17 years, you've really been there, done that. So this is going to be the next thing. If you're kind of moving on to the senior roles and so on and so forth, where you need multiple exposure, that is little over 4 years. Can I apply? See, we would actually ask you to wait for a year to apply. But if you have really done some exceptional work, and if you feel that this program is really necessary for you, then maybe you should. Ratnakar, over to you for a few more questions. Over to Sridevi for a few more questions.
Sure, VK. So there are a few questions which have come in one-on-one also on the chat box to me, which talk about people staying away, a combination of, so this program is a combination of weekdays and weekends where the sessions will be conducted virtually, which will be other than the campus modules, which will need you to be in the campus for about 5 days. The campus modules
Add to that breakup,
will
Devi, just let me add to that. A lot of questions are coming out on how many sessions and why not sessions on weekends and so on. So let me answer that. So we have a total of 114 hours of 110 hours of sessions in the virtual format, and the rest 40 hours goes back to classroom. Now, out of 110 hours, close to 45 hours are planned over the weekend. So we have ensured that close to whatever 40% or 50% is planned over the weekend, uh, and to kind of consider to be kind of be considering the fact that you would also need to show some kind of a commitment. So there is one weekday, one weekend, and it also depends upon our faculties availabilities, because in this particular program we're dealing with 12 different faculties and 12 different themes. So Keeping all of this in mind, that's the best we could do. And I just did a rough math while these questions were coming in. As I said, 45 hours is planned on weekend out of 110 hours, which I think is a good bargain in that sense. Sridevi, over to you. Yeah.
Uh, for the people who will not be able to attend, while we will not really want to give you alternatives, but there definitely will be alternatives, especially because this is going to be virtual. All the sessions will be recorded. We will have them all posted on the LMS tool, which is the learning management system, which we will engage you through. That will be one tool after your application whose credentials will be generated for you and shared with you. And that will be one go to portal for you all through the course of this program, which means that all your curriculum, the case, the assignments, all the session details, everything will be posted on the LMS, the learning management system. And that would include the recordings of these sessions, which you may miss due to technical issues and work exigencies.
Right. Okay. Uh,
A couple of more questions that I would want to address for, again, the CE alumni status. The CE alumni status is given out, yes, to all the participants who've been going through the executive education programs with the Center for Executive Education. This will not be the same as the PGP Pro or the PGP teams, but we do have, since CEE caters to the executives across uh, industries and so on, the more the merrier. So you will be engaged or rather integrated with 40,000 plus executives who are placed at the middle or senior positions across industries. So this will only help you with the bargain.
Yeah, here is a question. Experience-wise, rough breakup of people joining the program. It's about average experience seems to be coming around to about 12 years plus kind of thing. I have 12 years of experience in IT technology and related things. And how will this program help me? See, that 10 to 12 years IT leadership profiles, they are probably going to be the majority in this cohort to some extent, because this program shifts the orientation from your vertical IT depth into a T-shaped understanding of business across the T, and also help you to transit in your career. Doctor with 33 years of experience. 33 years of experience. See, and you are moving into hospital administration. So if you are looking at, turning profitable your venture, increasing your return on investment and so on and so forth, this program could be good for you. Yes, Surya. I have an MBA from a UK university, and 11 years ago. If 11 years ago, I would actually recommend you to do the program. If it was something like 5 years ago, I would have said, no. But 11 years is a long time, and I think things have changed a lot, and so you can get some good new wave inputs on this. You can also choose PGP Pro. That's a good program. That's a PGP. That choice is yeah, absolutely available to you if the PGP is being offered in your where you are. That's also a good choice. This is a shortened version. This is a shortened version, but gives you the exposure kind of thing. Um, yes. Um, I'm currently working as a mechanical regional manager in a mechanical auto company, 12 years experience. Okay. So mechanical engineer, auto company, 12 years experience. So again, that movement is what I talked about. From the hardcore mechanical engineering to markets, products, strategy, planning, P&L, etc. Um,
There are a couple of questions coming, VK, on comparing it with IIM Bangalore and IIM Ahmedabad and IIM Calcutta.
okay.
Uh, all great institutions.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the large difference that ISB brings in, and as VK had mentioned at the beginning, is we bring in something called precademicians, and we were the first institute to start it in India, where we said we will have practitioners from industry who have been there and done that, and academia, so that they can kind of get a good kind of experience of what they have handled and what they've learned, and combine it and deliver it in a much more interactive manner, and that kinds of puts us or makes us stand out from the other big names in India, because we believe in bringing live cases or live experiences of industry to the classroom, which are as relevant as very few years in the back. And for example, if you look at even the profile of faculties that is there, all of the faculties come with some industry experience. If you look at Nandu Nandkishore, ex-CEO of Oceania Asia for Nestle, Ram Nidumolu, a serial entrepreneur, Professor Soumya, she's been an entrepreneur and worked in an organization in the past. So all our faculty come in with some experience and academia, and that is what will make it more relevant for executives like you guys who are attending the session, because it'll be much more relevant and you can relate it to office experiences or relate it to the current problems that you're facing in your organization or in any specific conversations with your leadership or peers or subordinates and so on. Hence we kind of say we can kind of confidently say that we stand out from the other big names in India.
This is an interesting question, Meenakshi. I've been sailing for the past 10 plus years, and I hold the latest educational degree, BSc in nautical science. I never did an MBA earlier. So, what do you suggest? Will this executive program suit me? I want to change my domain. I think it will be great because you'll add a lot of value to the class, the cohort. You really, you've done something which is very different. You bring in diversity, you bring in a different mindset, and you will learn a lot from the diversity of the class who are going to be very strongly entrenched in the business domain. This program could be very good for you. Campus is 6 days does not seem proper. At least 12 days required. I agree with you, anonymous attendee, and I agree with you. Maybe we should look at that closely. What else is there? Does this executive education program be considered when you look at global experience by moving to other countries? Well, this program will give you a lot of tools, techniques, and all that, which will help you to get into roles in other countries and so on. But it is not as though this program is going to get you to jobs in other countries. It will be a good knowledge, skill knowledge positive.
Ratnakar, you may want to pick up this question about past performance of this program. Is this the first batch, and what could be the benefits and so on from the past?
Just to give you a history, everyone, we had a program called Accelerated Management Program, which was, as suggested by one of the anonymous participants, was a 12-day in-campus program. And over last year, we moved to the live virtual space, while everyone has got used to handling their meetings on Zoom, and Zoom has almost become part of our lifetimes. So that's when we decided that how can we kind of enhance the course and kind of make it more robust by adding more relevant topics. Like for example, if you see some of the topics is executive presence, emerging technologies. These were topics that weren't there in the last course that we had. So we revived this program. 1 year it was on the design table where we tried to revive it. We took industry inputs to try and ensure that we kind of have most of the points that are covered, and we kind of said that now this looks like a more robust course. And then we took advantage of the of our Zoom calls that we kind of are taking day in and day out these days, and we said we will make it much longer course, and in a sense make it a 9-month course. The old one was 12-day duration of a gap of about 3 months. So we said we'll make it much longer duration, and said we will kind of add in elements of the current relevant topics, like I mentioned. And hence we kind of said we cut it down to 6 days of in class and much more on online learning, and live learning is what we've increased it to. So if you want to go have a look at the industries that have participated, the brochure has it, all the details of which were the industries that came in for the accelerated management program in the past. And if you want to have conversations with anyone, please drop in a note to cee@isb.edu. But just be clear that this is a much more this is a revived program in that sense. It is not as, you can't compare it directly to that one, but you can't even stop comparing it to that one, because the birth of it came from there, or the idea of it came from there, and that's how we kind of worked on this particular program.
Here's a question from Ashish. Ashish says, it is mentioned that the admission is rolling. So once you submit the form, how early will you receive the call? And if you don't get it, then will it automatically go to the waitlist bucket? No, Ashish, you will get the call very quickly, in the sense that we are trying to ensure that the call goes out in about 5 to 6 days after we receive the application. And then if the application is complete and comfortable, it comes, you get called for the interview. And after the interview, there are three things: you can get an offer, you can get a reject, or you can be a waitlist. So the waitlist happens at that point in time, and those are cleared on the last day of the particular cycle. Career acceleration specifically to a person having 11 years in experience in IT. See, the first example I chose, actually, and you're asking Ravi that can you explain it as an example? Okay. See, the example which I chose first is that absolutely out here. Okay, 11 years experience, working in testing stroke delivery, wants to move to account management and market management. Does a program like this, the company recognizes the effort, understands her, the position she wants to go to, and she makes it. Interesting question from Sharda, 22 years, media, how will this help? See, it all, what this will do to you, Sharda, is that it kind of gives you the top management perspectives for your next change. Okay, with 22 years of experience in media, you would already be at a fairly senior level in the organization. Okay, but the next step is often daunting, in the sense that you're getting into top management out there. And the kind of faculty, what Ratnakar said some time back in answer to a comparison question, the kind of faculty that you will meet, they're all really, really senior people. And perhaps that's the kind of intervention which you need to move to the top layer of management. Will it have interview preparation, CV preparation strategies for senior profiles? It'll automatically be there, even though the focus is not there. And based on a few questions that has come, we are also planning to have some sessions which are towards career and grooming for careers. That is something which Ratnakar and I have been discussing, and perhaps we will have that. I'm not employed due to personal reasons. I'm starting to join another company. Am I eligible? Yes, you are. I've got 13 years of experience in IT and currently working as a project manager. How will it be beneficial? Yeah, you can see that, Kishu. Most of the questions are coming out of almost in the same set of people, people with about 10 to 15, 20 years of experience, having been in a particular vertical, wanting to make a transition into general management. So that is the profile which seems to be, the profile that is applying the most. And obviously you will benefit because you're moving into another layer. Here's Gyana, who says 19 years of experience in senior management role, product development, QA, and currently regional manager role in data center technology. How will this program help? Should the PGP program be appropriate to you? See, the PGP is, of course, a more detailed program. It's kind of more investment in terms of time and money. If you can do that, you should. But having said that, with your experience, this program could do the bridging pretty well. Pretty well. 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 。 . . . . . . 。 . . 。 . . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . Ratnakar, anything?
I don't think we can more or less. We've
We
kind of
have very specific questions being asked, and I would suggest the participants write in to us at cee@isb.edu. We'll be happy to share the brochures and which will carry brief details of all the modules and so on. Maybe you can take some time out to go through the brochure, check which of it would be relevant, and then write back to us with details, because more specific than that, it'll be difficult for us to be able to take up individual questions.
And
So
just to add into Sridevi's point, another question that's coming up across industries is, I am from a specific industry. Will it help me to elevate myself to a particular role in in the same industry, or will it help me to change industry? One thing I would like to request everyone is, any learning at any stage of your career helps you to kind of look at things in a different perspective, and such a program which has such a large dimensional program which has so many functional aspects will definitely give you an edge over someone who's not done a learning intervention, definitely. Now, will it guarantee it? There's nothing guaranteed, honestly. But having said that, any learning intervention in our career, I mean, if you kind of go through any learning program in your respective organizations or with your respective learning and development teams, it does give you an edge and gives you a better perspective to a particular function. And in such a program, like I mentioned, which is very large dimensional, which gives you aspects on a lot more functions, you definitely will have the edge in your respective industry or in any other industry. It is an industry agnostic program. It is not meant for a specific industry, and we have ensured that we include cases and simulations and relevance of it, so that everyone, and even the selection criteria, one of that is we're looking at how diverse background can we make it, and the more diverse it is, the more wonderful learning experience it'll be for all of you guys. So it's absolutely industry agnostic, but yes, it gives you an edge when you compare it with another person sitting beside you in your office and has who's done it and who's not done it. So it is a difference.
Ruchika, I would say this program might fit you well for that role to directorship and senior project management kind of roles that you want. This could be as you say, the catalyst that you're looking for. Yes, possible. So that is that's the time we have, Ratnakar.
Questions, please drop us a note. Sridevi is posted in the group, in the chat, sorry. Weekday, please clarify 4 to 7. Is it fixed? Yes, Sharda, it is fixed for now. Because that's the timing we've taken from these faculty, and most of these faculty are also based out of US. We have to ensure that it matches their time zone. So a lot of permutations and combinations have gone in to kind of get this rolling. So I think that's it for now. VK, anything else you want to add? And please drop in your questions. My team will be happy to assist you in anything that you have, and we'll be happy to have a conversation.
Right. And if some of you who are very senior and you want to have a discussion with me, I'm more than happy to kind of do that. So you can get in touch with me and we can have a chat. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming
Thank
in.
you everyone for taking your time and joining this. Thank you VK, and thank you Sridevi, and thank you everyone who's joined. Thank you
thank
then.
you everybody for joining in. Please drop in your note. We have put the email IDs in the chat box. The application link and the program details for you to go through are also available on the chat box right now. Do drop in a note and we'll be more than happy to assist. Thank you so much for joining us, and do stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.